All right, welcome to Revelator Trading. Today we are going to talk about our Pro Momentum indicator. So this is our Pro Momentum indicator here, and basically it is an oscillator. An oscillator just provides a different way of looking at price action. So it consists of two waves. You see we have this wave here that goes from red to green, back to red, back to green, and we call this our price wave. The price wave reacts quickly to changes in price action, which could also be termed volatility. We also have this wave that goes from blue to purple back to blue, and we call this the momentum wave. And the momentum wave kind of acts like the tide. And so when the momentum wave is blue, you basically have high tide, and price, like boats in a harbor, tend to rise. And as the tide goes out, price tends to fall. So those are the two waves. You will also notice that there are three lines here. If you look really carefully here, we have what is called the zero line. And so anytime that your price wave is above the zero line, you can think of that as bullish. Likewise with the momentum wave, if the momentum wave is above the zero line, price tends to be bullish. And of course, you could say the opposite if you are trading below the zero line. Think of the market in more bearish terms. And then up here, we have the overbought line. And so anytime that the price wave peaks above and tends to hold above, as you can see in these phases here, price action tends to be insanely bullish. And so just because you see this little peak here, since you're holding, things will tend to go up. We had a little dip below, and then it starts pointing up again, and you continue your upward trend. All right, so that is the overbought line. And anytime you are peaking above and then holding above, things tend to be very bullish. And then kind of the opposite of that, you can see down here we have an oversold line. And if we look in kind of a more bearish phase of the market, you can see we crossed the zero line. Trend Pro is giving us red candles. And then you see we peak below and hold it. And price is going down. We kind of come up just a little bit, and then boom, we dump down. The momentum wave is trending down. So these are all bearish indications. All right, so we got the zero line, the overbought, and the oversold lines. And so these can be very useful tools in deciding how long to stay in a trade, perhaps when you should take profit, and so forth. All right, so some other things that you can look for would be divergences. And so what is a divergence? Well, basically, if the price trends up and the wave trends down, that is a bearish divergence, especially when you see the momentum wave also kind of trending down. And that can give you a leading indication that the market is going to reverse. And we can see, obviously, here I'm looking at a fund that's traded on the stock market. And so there's going to be some gaps here. But we can see some leading indication that a reversal was possible. And sure enough, in this case, it played out. Same here. You peaked above, kind of trended down. You see here the price trended up. We didn't really have indication of the momentum wave going down, but it eventually did. And as it turned, you can see the market roll over. And you can see here I'm actually currently long. Some reasons for that is we have, again, these waves are trending up. The price kind of trended down. I actually got stopped out here yesterday, but overall we see some trending up. So you can see I've got a fairly tight stop, a 1.14% stop, and I'm shooting for a 4.04% reward. And that's all based off of my Pro Analyzer indicator here. We'll talk about that in another video. All right, so those are some bearish divergences, and we can also see some bullish divergences. So we've already talked about this bearish phase, but you'll notice the price wave starts trending upward, and then you see the momentum wave. Again, it hooks and starts trending up, and that provides leading indication of a bounce here. So these are not foolproof. But generally speaking, if both waves are in agreement, you're near a support level, there's a strong probability. But you should always back test to establish what is the probability. Is it 50%? Is it 70%? Is it 20%? Now, what kind of risk, what kind of reward can you expect in those scenarios? All right, so we'll get deeper into that sort of thing in strategy videos. So just to wrap up this video, let's come over here to the gear and look at the settings. By default, it's set on the medium frequency setting. If you want to get a broader overview of the market, maybe you got some bias that's clouding your judgment, switching to a low frequency setting can really help you not get overly bearish on these sorts of phases. In this case, you're thick with that momentum. You held above. You can see, though, overall, the market's very bullish. You're above the zero line. You're trending up. You got thick momentum. In those kind of cases, oftentimes the Trend Pro short signals should actually be counter traded, and you should buy in those cases. So the low frequency setting can really help clear up your biases. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, you can set a high frequency. And you can see you get a lot of these little price waves. And these can be used to scalp the market. But again, you'll notice the momentum wave tends to hold and trend above the zero line during strong upward uptrends, and you could say the same thing in a strong downtrend, which we tend to be in right now. So you can see here the market rolled over, we flipped below that zero line, but you can see we're starting to trend up. We've actually come above that zero line. All right, so I hope that gives you a good preview on our Pro Momentum indicator. If you have any questions, be sure to reach out to us, and we will be glad to try to help you out. I guess before I go, let me talk about one last thing that Pro Momentum does. You can actually set alerts. So you right-click on one of the waves, hit Add Alert on RPM. By default, you can signal every function call. And what this allows you to do is use only one of your TradingView alerts, and it will alert you of basically any of these different conditions. And we'll go deeper into these conditions in a more deep dive strategy video. So thanks for watching. We hope to hear from you with any questions that you might have, and we'll see you in the next video.